Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Always appreciate it. Hey, we need you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm going to tell you why. Because the narcissist in me, and everybody has a little narcissist in them somewhere, right? But the little narcissist in me sees some of these other pages that talk sports and give sports content, and he sees how like so many of them have just progressed to the 5 and 10 and 20 and 100,000 subscribers, and he doesn't think they're as good as I am. So help the little ego inside of me, the little narcissist inside of me that says, "Oh, I need you to." I'm only kidding. I just really do want you to subscribe because I think we do good work over here. Lots of great content. I have a video dropping today that is going to talk about the next level of NIL deals and how people can set themselves up for that name, image, and likeness deal that makes sense. And whether or not you're trying to just make a little bit of money or whether or not you're trying to really jumpstart business and turn that opportunity that you might only get in college into something that can be a windfall for you for years to come. So you're going to want to check that video out. The NBA draft was yesterday, and the WNBA also announced their All Stars. I don't know why the WNBA decided to announce their All Stars on the same day as the NBA draft. And maybe it was the day before, but I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. I could be wrong. Either way, I don't know why you would have it so close. You want to give yourself the runway so you're the only thing that they're talking about. But I wanted to talk about both. And first, I wanted to discuss the Oklahoma City Thunder's draft haul because they had 3 of the top 12 picks in the draft. And it's interesting to me, like a team like Oklahoma City that have been, for years now, getting all of these draft picks whenever they've had to jettison or trade away a star player. They've been getting these draft picks, and they have a team full of young talent, but nobody's afraid of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Nobody's afraid that the Thunder is going to strike. Why? Because for all of the good talent that they have on the team, they're all developmental talent with flaws. They all have something about them that makes us go, right? I saw a post by somebody who said this team is so filthy, and they put up the pictures of the players in the team. And if you don't know basketball, you don't know who any of these guys are, right? If you don't know basketball, then you don't know who any of these guys are. So it's like, you draft because, and I talked about this yesterday, you draft because you're trying to look for guys who can be the star. And what the Thunder have done is they have so many guys, right? They have so many guys there that you're just hoping 1 or 2 of them become the star. Like, we're just going to keep taking a bunch of bites at the apple until we get a star, until we get multiple stars. So you're hoping that all of them get multiple stars. But here's the problem. You can't develop them all at the same time. If you have a bunch of young dudes who are all in consecutive draft classes, you can't develop them all at the same time, which means when you're trying to figure out if one's good and you may think they might be good, so you want to re-up them for that first contract, and then next year you got another group coming up for the same contract extension, and then that third year you got another group coming up for the same it's impossible to develop all that talent, try to stay competitive, right? Develop all that talent, try to stay competitive, and then sign all of them. It's a flawed logic. So here's where my brain goes. My brain goes, okay, who are they developing these talents for? It's clearly not for them. Oklahoma City has become the bridge between the G League and the NBA. And I don't say that to diss the players. I think they have a lot of really talented players. But they have become a developmental program. You go to Oklahoma City, you shine up your star a little bit, you figure out what your role is going to be in the NBA, and then you go to the team where you're actually going to be of value to try to help them win games. Or you go to the team that's going to be able to afford to give you the maximum amount of money. That is what this team is now. Because the model of, well, we're just going to take a bunch of bites at the apple, right? The idea that we're just going to take a bunch of bites at the apple without ever like being able to fully see if it could come to fruition is a flawed model. You can't do it because you can't sign all these guys. And that's going to force you to make quicker decisions than you really want to make. Like, you really don't want to make decisions after the first 3 years. Why? Because we've seen it in the NBA that sometimes these guys need 4-5 years to really reach their full potential. So if you're not giving them the runway that they need in order to show you what you need to see, there's a good chance this isn't going to work out, right? So they've got Holmgren, they've got Dang, they've got Jalen Williams, and they've got Jalen Williams. Yeah, we didn't mess that up. They drafted 2 Jalen Williams, Jalen Jalen Williams, and Jaylin Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams from Santa Clara, good ball player. Jalen Williams from Arkansas, good ball player. Ousmane Dang, I believe he played over in Australia, good ball player. Chet Holmgren, good ball player. None of those guys say star to me. None of them say star, right? So then that begins for me to ask the question. If I don't think any of these guys are stars, then what's going to happen after 3 years? Like, they're going to, what is what's going to happen? First off, they're going to go to Summer League. They're going to look really impressive in Summer League. Why? Because they have a bunch of good young players that they're probably going to mix in with a bunch of the young veterans that need to really get more time because they've been sitting on the bench for Oklahoma City. Right? So they're going to look good, and then you're going to get back to the regular season. You're going to go, we can't play all of these guys at one time. It's impossible for us to play all of these guys at one time. And then you got to start watching as these guys regress. Because if you don't use it, you lose it. And you don't get better simply by practicing. You actually have to have practical application to be able to go with the practice. You need it physically and you need it mentally. Because in practice, a lot of times, the scenarios are set up for you to either win or lose. There's no unknown variable. In a real game, we have an unknown variable that you have to overcome. You have to adapt to. That's why you get better in real game situations than you do just in practice or with drills. Now, you need to practice. You need to have drills. You need to get those. You need to get those 10,000 hours of legitimate good reps. You need that. And in the NBA, more than almost any other sport, because of the nature of basketball, and all you need is a basketball to get better, you should be able to come up on those 10,000 hours much faster than your average person, right? Think about it. 365 days in a year, there's no reason why you shouldn't have a basketball in your hand every single day for at least a couple hours, right? For at least a few hours. So that means if you're working 3 hours a day, 365 days out of the year only, that means that you should have over 1,000, well over 1,000 reps by the end of 1,000 hours, by the end of the first year. Now, if you treated it like a real job, which is what you should do, you should be at anywhere between 3,000 and 4,000 by the end of 1 year. So it's safe to say that by 3 years into the league, you should, whatever the skills that you have worked on, you should have mastery level over them. Because I'm only counting the NBA. I'm not even counting college. I'm not even counting high school. I'm not even counting youth league. I'm just counting the hours that you spend in the NBA. But if you don't get into games a lot to be able to put that into practice, how do you ever get better? And these guys are prideful. The top two, the number 2 pick, the number 11 pick, and the number 12 pick in the NBA draft, they are not going to want to. They're not going to want to like work it out in the G League. Now, me personally, if I'm on a rookie contract where I'm guaranteed money, I don't care where I work it out at. I just want to play ball. But they're not going to think that way. Their pride's not going to let them think that way. They don't want to go and work it out in the G League. And so that's what you're going to end up with, guys who are not used to playing, who have unbalanced evaluation because we haven't seen enough live rounds from them. And then you're going to have a salary cap that doesn't allow us to sign everybody, and a fan base who's going to want to eventually try to win something. Hey, I know we got lucky with Kevin Durant and with Russell Westbrook, and with Ibaka and with James Harden all on the same team. We caught lightning in a bottle, right? 3 years in, it started to fall apart. James Harden doesn't want to come off the bench. You realize you can't sign all of these guys. Kevin Durant wants to win a championship, so he wants to go to a team that has it. You double down on Westbrook, but you don't properly put pieces around him to make it worth, and then you try to throw him under the bus. So we see how this works out. We know how this game ends. It's cute. You got a lot of talent, Thunder, but what does that really mean? What does it really mean? The WNBA All Star starters were announced, as I talked about earlier, and I want to go through the names of the starters. Jackie Young, it's her first All-Star selection from the Las Vegas Aces. They have a few, as they should. I don't know if they should have 3 starters because they announced the starting pool. I don't know if they should have 3 starters, but they are the best team in the league. And so this is kind of what you have to deal with. So Jackie Young is, in her first year, averaging 18 points a game, 4 rebounds, almost 4 assists. Like, she's having a fantastic season. Asia Wilson, back again, one of the best big men or big women in the, or post players in the, it's not even really fair to call her a post player. She is, but, you know, she can do more things. One of the best in the WNBA, 18 points a game, almost 10 rebounds a game. You know what she brings to the table. Kelsey Plum, now into the starting role with the exit of with the exit of players that allow her to come into the starting lineup now. She is doing her thing. She leads the Aces. I think she has 20 points a game leading the Aces. So she's going to be a force. You know what she does from three. She's doing what she did in college. This is the thing, right? If we would have talked about her being a bust after 1 and 2 years, then you wouldn't know. But now she's coming to her own, and she's balling. Breanna Stewart, one of the most dynamic players in the WNBA, if not the most dynamic player in the WNBA, if not the best player in the WNBA. She's back for a fourth time. She's won the league 3 times already. She's been the MVP twice. You know what she brings to the table. Almost 22 points a game, almost 8 rebounds. Joined by her is Candace Parker, who is a legend, one of the GOATs. 12, 13 points a game, 9 rebounds, 8 rebounds. The only woman in the WNBA to have 3 triple-doubles. Nneka Ogwumike of the Sparks, one of the best players in the league now for many, many seasons. Still pissed off that she didn't make the USA team. And now I'm really looking forward to seeing her and all of the Nigerian American women decide to go play for Nigeria. Like, I'm really looking forward to that, because if the USA team's not going to show you the respect you deserve, then you need to go somewhere else where they will. Jonquel Jones, WNBA MVP last year, back for another year, was former 6th Woman of the Year, was a former Most Improved Player of the Year. She has made that rise up. Sabrina Ionescu, her first All-Star selection after being the number 1 overall selection in 2020 and not really having the greatest season, right? 2020 getting hurt, then 2021 not really having the greatest season. 2022, she's starting to come into her own. Youngest player in WNBA history to record multiple triple-doubles. She's become a star. And then our last 2 picks, Sylvia Fowles, who's in her last season. You know who she is. She's been around forever. Still balling. 16.5 points a game. 10-plus rebounds a game. And she's in her retirement year. That's how good she is. And then Sue Bird, who's making her final WNBA All Star team in her final season, as she's recently announced. She has 13 All Star selections. That's most all time, after Tarazi and Tamika Catchings. Tarazi, by the way, not a starter, but it's kind of hard for me to not see her making it. We'll see. And it's Sue Bird where I want to land, because I love Sue Bird. And I think Sue Bird has been a baller. But a lot of what has been come with Sue Bird's star, it doesn't all have to do with her playing ability. We've talked about it in the past. At least I've talked about it in the past. As an offensive threat, she's not really special, right? Her offensive gift is her ability to kind of manage a team. But in a game where point guard play has really become more, or where offensive players really become more amoeba, where you've got multiple people who handle the ball, who shoot, having one person dominate the ball and set up hasn't necessarily been the way. And you've seen that Sue Bird has been able to adjust her game over the years. But we're being honest. I could contend that the WNBA championships that have been won with Sue Bird in the back half of her career would have been won whether she was there or not. They have had phenomenal talents. And when you have those phenomenal talents, if you put in somebody who's going to give you 10 points and 6 assists, I think that everybody's going to, but we love Sue Bird, right? And so now we're sitting and watching Sue Bird make a 13th All Star game, and that's great. But the gift and the curse of Sue Bird is because she's a star, she always gets to shine. Yet, because she's a star, and we know that she's bankable, she is marketable. She was marketable early in her career because she was a beautiful white woman who played basketball really well. That's marketable. Now she's marketable later in her career because she's a beautiful white woman who has stood the test of time and has kind of been fighting off Father Time. And now she brings in the LBGT community, LGBTQ plus community. Now she brings that community in. So she's marketable. That's the gift of Sue Bird. She touches so many different real basketball players. They mess with Sue Bird because she's a real baller, right? People who like when real ballers look beautiful, they like her. She shows that you can be feminine and a baller, right? LGBTQ community and a baller, but not like, me. They like that. But then here's the curse. Because she's so marketable, because she's so bankable, the WNBA has missed out on developing the stars, brightening the stars of other guards who are probably more deserving of being a WNBA starter than Sue Bird. Arike Ogunbowale, right? Ogunbowale should be a starter, right? I think it is almost criminal. I think it is almost criminal that this woman has been torching the league for several years and still kind of wallows in, I'm not going to say she's obscure. I'm not going to say obscurity, but she's not the level of star that someone of her status should be. Last night, this woman went for 24.6 assists, 5 steals, and 4 rebounds. I'm going to say it again. 24 points, 6 assists, 5 steals, 4 rebounds. That's a regular stat line for her. She's doing this to people every night. It doesn't matter who the team is. She's doing it every single night. She's cooking the bad teams. She's giving the good teams a massive headache. And yet, she's not a WNBA starter. A WNBA All Star starter, excuse me. And I can't get beyond the fact that if it were not for players like Sue Bird and to the same extent, Diana Taurasi, who's probably going to make the WNBA All-Star team, then we would see players like Arike Ogunbowale get their flowers, get their shine, because that's 2 people who are out of the way now. They're out the way. I can't help but believe that. And it's sad because I don't want to blame. This isn't blame on Sue Bird. This isn't Sue Bird's fault. This isn't Diana Taurasi's fault. They're ballers. They're marketable. The problem lies with the WNBA and with women's basketball as a whole, because The one good thing that the NBA does is it is constantly trying to tell you who's next. Who's the next star coming? Meanwhile, the WNBA just keeps telling you these are our stars. That's who they are. And until they start really saying, hey, listen, Super, you don't have to retire, but we have Dionysus Horizon, you don't have to retire, but you can respect the legends of the game without sacrificing the ability to raise the star of the new era, of the new age. And it's just something that I think that the women's basketball game, specifically WNBA, Team USA, have to do a better job at. Congratulations to Sue Bird. Congratulations to all the WNBA All Star starters. I'm looking forward to seeing who the reserves are. It's going to be hard. It's a lot of really good ball players out there. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. You do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, subscribe. Subscribe. Leave some comments. What do you think? Till next time, peace.